West Ham and Watford clash at London Stadium on Friday night in a crucial contest in the fight for Premier League survival. Both sides currently sit 3 points above the relegation zone, with West Ham 1 spot higher due to a superior goal difference. Of course, tonight's result with Aston Villa versus Everton, 1 each, has massively given West Ham a boost going ahead in the game tomorrow at London Stadium. A win for either team is a huge 6-pointer, would be enormous in the battle for the drop, while the losers would remain in the sights of Villa and Bournemouth, who, thrashed Leicester City and put up a decent display against Manchester City. Welcome back to Irons United. I'm Anton. I'm joined by Stell. Stell, Watford, what's your thoughts?
Good evening, mate. Well, before we start talking about Watford, I'd just like to show everyone the new away kit, if that's okay.
Yep.
There you go, people. The new away kit is there as from tomorrow, apparently. I actually quite like it, but there you go.
There you go.
Bit of classic nostalgia.
Get it up there again. Get it up there again, Still.
Oh, damn it. I've just deleted it. Hang on. Let me see if I can. No, it's gone. You can. Right. Oh, there it is. There it is.
So get your comments in below. Let us know your thoughts on the away strip. We are here for the Watford preview.
Yes.
We came off a fantastic victory at Norwich City, but of course it was Norwich City who we relegated. What are we thinking ahead of the game tomorrow? Obviously, we'll go in a bit deeper in a minute.
Well, I think there's been quite a few comments throughout the week where people are saying we just got to go for it. And I think if we play anywhere near the way we've been playing for the past few games, where we've been creating quite a lot of chances, getting a few more shots on target than the first couple of games of the return after lockdown, I think we should be all right. And I know people talk about Watford being our bogey team, but we've done quite well against them in the past few games. And I know we'll come up with some stats in a moment. Yep. But we've got to go for it, haven't we? We've got all we need now is 3 points, because if we get 3 points, Villa can't catch us up. And if we get 3 points, Bournemouth are going to have to win by some 8 or 9 goal margin in one of their games to overtake us. So
I think that puts, if I'm correct in saying, I'm just having a quick look at the league here. Due to the draw, both Villa and Bournemouth, with 2 games to go, are on the same points. So either a victory for West Ham or Watford would leave them 6 points from safety, and the goal difference is dramatically superior. So it would take a massive swing in goals. So West Ham are really looking for 1 more victory for the season, 3 more points. Even 1 more point might do, but we never know.
You know what? It won't be a disaster if we draw tomorrow.
Yeah,
but I think it will be all to play for if we slip up against Watford tomorrow, and because that will give, I think we were saying this in our review the other day. If we lose tomorrow, that will give Villa a target, won't it? For them, something for them to sort of hope for in the last game of the season against them. So it's all down to us, and it should always be down to us. It shouldn't be down to how rubbish the other teams are. It should be how good we are to stay up. Mind you, we haven't been that good, but it should be down to us, shouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, let's take a look at our opposition. Of course, we're here to see Watford and discuss Watford a little bit about, and then obviously we'll look at West Ham. Let us know your thoughts on all our funky stuff that's going on.
He's got me addicted. We have got a whole pile of images to put up, and I've got to be honest, I've been doing a few of them today. Yeah. So there you go.
Absolutely. Listen, of course we know Watford. Every time West Ham get a result, Watford bounce back and get a result. So obviously they've won 2 on the bounce. Norwich and Newcastle were the last 2 games that they've won, and then now they both step up against each other. It's a 6-pointer. What is it we think about Watford and their players and what they're going to be doing? Well, I suppose you could say.
They've got decent players. We think that Deeney might be out tomorrow because I think it sounds like he is out injured, and I think that'll be a massive bonus to us if he is, because he's one of our nemesis, isn't he?
Yeah.
8 goals he's got this season, which isn't a great return for someone like Deeney, but historically he's scored 3 goals against us, and he seems to enjoy scoring against West Ham. So we're kind of hoping that he'll be out tomorrow. But then
I think it's a knee injury, but he's playing through the knee injury, just trying his best to keep going through that.
Right. Well, even a half fit Deeney, he only needs one
for
sniff.
West Ham.
He only needs one sniff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But without him, or they've got other players like Ismail Assar, another striker, has got 5 goals this season, 3 assists. We all know about Deulofeu, who's scored a couple of goals against us in the past few seasons. He's got 5 assists
in the past as well,
and the player we wanted. Yeah, so 4 goals, 5 assists. So they've got their players are, ironically, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? They're on a par with us in the league. They've got players who've got sort of similar kind of stats. Our highest goal scorer is Antonio on 8. Deeney, their highest goal scorer, is on 8. And then they've got all these other players sort of bubbling under who can do a job for Watford. So even if Deeney's out, which will be a massive bonus for us if he is, we can't sort of rest on our laurels. They've got other players that they can sort of bring in, and we just got to be on our game tomorrow. It was great that we got a clean sheet the other day, because I think we really needed that. And I know everyone's going to say, well, it was only against Norwich, but it doesn't matter. We've been rubbish at keeping clean sheets, so it was a nice bonus. So that will probably stand us in good stead tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
What about Nigel Pearson as a manager? I mean, you got to look at his career, his club career, but he could be questionably the guy that turned Leicester into what they are. The season before, I think he got sacked, didn't he? He had a run of 14 games unbeaten. He was unbelievable in form, which took them into their championships, the championship winning season in the Premier League. And now he's obviously the manager of Watford. He's keeping them afloat. He's doing the job he's been brought in to do.
He's another manager under the. You look at a certain group of managers, don't you? And like Pearson and Dyche and Allardyce and Moyes and all these sort of like this little group of managers who are kind of pretty similar in the way they operate. Some a bit more successful than others, and he's done a decent job. He's kept them afloat. I think they'll stay up. I think the bottom 3 clubs that are there at the moment are the 3 clubs that are likely to go down. So even if Watford lose against us tomorrow, I kind of feel that they'll stay up. I actually feel if we lose, we still stay up as well. But he's done a decent job. He's not my cup of tea as a manager, but you can't deny his record. You're right. When he managed Leicester, he kind of got them really going, didn't they?
Yeah, of course.
Almost set the platform for the other managers to come in and do better.
I mean, he's really, he's at the forefront of maybe the reason why they did do that. On top of that, giving people like Vardy a chance at Leicester, etc.
Yep.
Then you've, always think of a player that plays for Watford who West Ham were linked to for many a year, who scored an unbelievable goal for Watford against Norwich, and that's Danny Welbeck. And he's in line. He's in line to start the game for Watford, and it looks like he's potentially going to play out in the wing, but that gives them another threat. Someone cutting inside and going up top to support if Deeney plays, or whoever the striker will be.
Yeah, Welbeck is a half decent. Well, he was a half decent player. It was strange that Man United let him go at the time that they did, because I rated him. And I know he's had a whole series of injuries and so on, and his career hasn't quite been the same. But it's another player that can do the business against us, isn't he? And I think we're kind of on a par with them tomorrow. I can't say that we're better than Watford, but I don't think we're worse than them. And it's a matter of who's going to create the more chances. And Welbeck is one of those players that can certainly do so. Absolutely.
But I mean, there is a couple of their players that definitely would. I would look at. It's funny, people always slag off Troy Deeney, but you can't really fault the guy's passion. And you know what? He's a terror against West Ham. He is. and he always causes us problems. He there's comments coming in there saying he always bullies our defence, and right now our defence are weak. There's no ifs or buts about it. Of course, getting the clean sheet. We'll talk about West Ham in a minute, but having him up top, and then you've got these players. I think we've got some stats on them. Decor, your midfielder, 4 goals from the season, 2 assists, and he's got the best pass record this season. He's a fantastic player still. He controls and bosses that midfield.
They've got decent players, and I think Watford will probably be looking at their team and thinking the same as we are. How are they down there? How are they down near the bottom? When perhaps Watford should be a bit like us, should be quite comfortable by this time in this season, mid-table, etc. And I think when you look at their players, I think Watford fans will probably be thinking an awful lot the same as we are. How are we down there? How is it that Watford have got all these decent players, and yet they don't seem to have done enough to be comfortable at this stage of the season?
Yeah. So obviously last time out, West Ham played Watford at the Vicarage Road in August. It feels like a long. I mean, it's nearly, I can't even believe it. It's nearly a year ago.
Nearly a year ago.
And that season still has not finished due to the current scenarios, etc. And Haller stepped up with 2
we
goals.
were there. We were there to see that game, and Haller scored 2, Noble scored 1, comfortable 3-1 win. And we've done quite well. Ironically, we've done quite well against them away, and they've done quite well against us at home. So you could argue that maybe this is Watford's turn, isn't it? That they beat us 2-0 last time and at home, and but since then we've had a 4-1 and a 3-1 comfortable win, and it's a good away day. It's quite, because I guess it's quite close to London, so you can just travel up there and have a good time and watch us beat Watford. But they tend to do it against us at home, and if there's anything about me that's slightly apprehensive is our home record against them. I don't think it's been that great, but but look at these stats. In the last 13 games played between the two teams, we've only won 1 more than them. We've drawn 2. We've had 3 home wins, 3 away wins. It's so even, isn't it? When you look at those stats. So it could go either way tomorrow. It kind of, in my head, it's got draw written all over it, but it's gonna. There's so much more to play for that perhaps it might not just be a dull draw.
They've got players though who also come back to haunt West Ham. They've got Hughes, the young lad with the blonde hair, a couple of seasons ago, just outright destroyed West Ham at Vicarage Road. But they've got players that will step in. But obviously, without saying anything, they're still in the same position as us. So without paying them too much credit, they are still in a relegation battle. They're equal to points with West Ham. If I look at their stats for the season, they have played, obviously, 36 games, winning 8 times, losing 17 games, scoring 33 goals, and conceding 54 with 9 clean sheets. Now, 9 clean sheets is not bad for a team that's down there. Is there a lot of credit to Ben Foster? Foster's
he's a decent goalie, isn't he? And he certainly makes their defense a little bit more secure, I guess. But overall, their overall stats are not too dissimilar from ours. 8 games won each. They've got a marginally better goal difference, haven't they? To what we have. So it's going to be really an open game tomorrow, isn't it? I mean, they've drawn 1 less than us. We've lost 2 more than them, or something like that. It's so even. You're hoping that it's going to be our day tomorrow, because all our players are going to be on song. I hope we didn't peak last week, in a 4-0. And it's funny because we were talking about the Burnley game over a week ago, where we were saying if only Antonio had saved one of his 4 goals for Burnley, but instead of hitting the post, and I hope last week he hasn't run. I hope that isn't the whole total of his goals for the season. That we're hoping that.
But the thing is, Watford tend to line up. I mean, they do line up reasonably attacking. They've got usually the flat back four with the two players in front of them, Capu and Hughes. Then they've got Sarr, Decor, Welbeck, and if Deeney makes it, that there is a threat there. But as long as we do know West Ham, I mean, I think it's usually typically a 4-2-3-1 formation that Pearson sets out with Watford. So I think as long as West Ham counter that and can put the right players, but still, how important would it be to get 3 points tomorrow and give ourselves a bit of safety, considering the result tonight, the 1-1 result from Villa and Everton. I think it was the last 3 minutes when, thank you, Theo Walcott stepped up and got the goal for Everton.
3 minutes to go, yeah. Crucial.
But, the season doesn't go as simple as we all expect, but...
Well, like I say, mate, it doesn't matter what other teams do. It's down to us. If we're not good enough to beat Watford and get a result against Villa and even go out and give Man U a game, and I know they're on fire at the moment, but if we're not good enough to go out and get something out of the last 3 games, then we don't deserve to stay up, because it shouldn't be down to how bad other teams are doing around us. It's always been in our hands, and we kind of, we're biting our thumb, we're biting our fingernails, looking at other games and hoping this team's going to win and that team's going to lose, etc., etc. But it shouldn't be down to that. It should be down to us being able. We can, we're at home tomorrow. We are on par with them, if not a better squad than Watford. They do have decent players. They will line up as a 4-2-3-1, and we know we'll probably line up in exactly the same way. So it's going to be who's up for it more. And they, Deeney, as you said, is the guy that kind of spurs them on. Now, if he doesn't play tomorrow, they will be lacking not only in a goal scorer, but they'll be lacking in someone driving that team forward. And you'd hope that will have an impact on them in a negative way. But we can't. It's down to us. It's in our hands. We just got. We'll line up in the same manner, for almost definite a 4-2-3-1, and we've got to nullify them, and we've got to beat them in midfield and do better. I mean, I know that sounds simple.
That brings us on nicely. Let's have a look at our beautiful West Ham. It's going to take a while for us to get used to this.
I don't know what people are saying, because I'm not looking at the comments at the moment, but I'm sure
it's going to take us a while to have get used to this. Loads of comments coming in. Before we carry on, we just want to say I think there's a happy birthday in there. Ian Barron, happy birthday, mate. Hope you're having a good day. And
then you're listening to us.
Yeah, plenty of people in. So, of course, let's talk about West Ham. We've seen a bit of an update from Moyes today, and it looks like Felipe Anderson is working hard to get back and fit again for the conclusion to the end of the season. There is a possibility he may get a run out tomorrow. I think that's good news for West Ham, because what a threat that is coming off the bench.
Yeah, agreed. And he gets a lot of stick, but I agree with you. He hasn't done it for us this season, has he? Really, he's had a pretty poor season, all being said. But having said that, he's had 4 assists this season. He's only scored 1 goal, but he's had 4 assists. And someone like him coming off the bench, with say 15, 20 minutes to go, why not? And I'm quite glad. I quite like him. He gets a lot of stick, deservedly so this season, because he really hasn't sort of done much for us. But I think, is it only Snodgrass that's still out at the moment?
Yes, I think there was an update on Snodgrass as well. They're trying their best to see if he can get him some game time before the end of the season, but he has been missing since literally the start of lockdown, and he's not had a lot of game time, whereas of course Felipe Anderson started the Project Restart, and unfortunately, just due to a kind of minor injury, will look like more likely that he will come back. So, I mean, Snoddy is a big miss, absolutely. But what we do have in the ranks is Jared Bowen, who's offering us the work rate that Snoddy offered, with some added bonuses and extras. I mean, it's funny I said that, added bonuses and extras, but Snoddy's popped up with a few goals and a few assists this season. But I suppose you could say, apart from I didn't think Jared Bowen, to be honest, would be that sort of guy that would track back left, right, and centre. I didn't watch a huge amount of him in the Championship still, but
his work rate is incredible, and you can see quite. You see what we criticise Moyes an awful lot with the way he played and the way he's played the team, and etc. etc. But he's brought in two players who run their socks off and work really hard. And Bowen is, you're absolutely right, mate. I thought Bowen was just out and out sort of like winger, attack winger, you know, to think about going back and defending and stuff like that. And yet he's shown his worth not only in the attack where he's. I thought he'd assisted in more goals, but he's assisted in 3 goals. He's only scored the 1 at the moment, but he tracks back. He covers for the defence. He works really hard. He works really hard for the team. And what a great find he is, you know, and I'm glad we actually got him. And then, of course, the other player, Souček, who has revolutionised our midfield.
100%.
You know, what a player, you know, and to think that once we secure Premier League status next season, we'll only have to pay another 13.5 million to keep him at West Ham. I mean, that is an absolute bargain. And you think both those players are under 20 million, round about 20, just under 20 million each. And that is a massive bargain for West Ham. And you got to take your hat off to Moyes. I know we laughed at him when he arrived the first time, and he brought Hugill in, but he had a little bit more time, didn't he, in the transfer market? And he's all credit to him with bringing those 2 players in. And if that's the shape of things to come, you know, we're going to start seeing the other players pretty similarly coming in, and all the players that we all call prima donnas, a bit like the Andersons and the Lanzinis, etc. Maybe their time has come to leave the club. But if we can get players, I mean, Diangana will be back in next season, so you can see quite a hard-working West Ham team. And it will show tomorrow night as well with Bowen and Souček in the team. I'm pretty sure they'll both start. With both of those players in the team, we're going to work hard tomorrow, and that's a good thing for West Ham United. You know, to work hard when we don't have the ball. And thankfully, though, Watford aren't the same as some of the other teams we've played, where they're likely to put us under pressure for like a whole hour of a game or anything like that. But we just got to be careful about how they, you know, hit us on the break. I think that's going to be the thing that we're got to be careful about tomorrow.
Before we continue, just make sure tomorrow we will be live for our match day live. So tune in a good solid hour and a bit before kickoff, where we will be streaming to you live. The team news reaction straight through to the watch along. Listen, I mean, if anything, if any of you don't watch, we just have a good laugh. So,
we have a good laugh. And there's going to be so many images, you won't even have to look at our mug.
and we'll have so many guests popping in and out throughout the day. So it's just, listen, like I said to you, we the more we do it, it just makes it feel like you're actually trying your best to recreate something you would do if you were at the stadium. The more people we have. And tomorrow night, it's Friday night, guys. So it's rum night, and maybe it's cocktail night as well. So get your cocktails ready. Still, I'm going to, make sure you tune in tomorrow night. We'll get all this stuff put out beforehand. I'm about to put the starting lineup that we had for the game against Norwich. Now, of course, we know that Antonio has doubled his tally for the season in one game. He's gone from 4 goals of the season to 8 goals this season. The guy has ran his socks off. Literally ran his socks off for the club. He has gone through the emotions with the fans. He's been hated 1 minute, loved the next minute, predominantly loved though in the claret and blue for West Ham. How important has he been? And isn't it crazy to think that he's currently keeping our £40 million striker who's just back from injury on the bench? And realistically, I mean, is this starting lineup that you've just put up what we think we will see tomorrow night?
Well, that was the starting lineup last game, and I reckon it won't change. But we'll see. But as far as Antonio is concerned, it's really funny, you know, because the first season he was with us, which was the last season at the Boleyn, he was decent and we all liked him. And then that season, the season after, he and a couple of other players, I think that was the season when Snodgrass went out on loan. Can't remember if it's that season or the season before. Like we were looking at players like Antonio and thinking, what the hell's going on? How come we've got this player? It didn't look like he was anywhere near decent to play for West Ham, and I hold my hand up was one that kept saying we should just get rid of him, and he's not good enough for us, and the type of players that we're now trying to attract to the to West Ham United, it didn't fit the bill, and I was really wrong, because he's got to take credit, and hats off to him, where he has played as a right back, he's played as a right midfielder, he's played as an attacker, he's played any position that he's been told to play. He's played it, and he's done it as with the best of his ability. Wing back, right wing back, and so on. And he is, he's 30 years of age now. He has got 1 year left of his current contract. And I know there's been talk about, no contracts will be looked at until the season's over. But I'm pretty certain we've got a 2-year option, so to extend his contract for a further 2 years, and I'm pretty certain we'll take that on. And he'll be 33 by that time.
Yeah.
But even if he stays with us for another season, gets to 31, let's see what next season holds out for him. And then, it doesn't matter whether you extend the contract or not. You extend it. That means if you don't want to keep him after another season, you can sell him. And you got to pay credit to this guy. He has never complained, and what a nice guy he is. Like when he's interviewed, the smile on his face, and you can see that he's happy to be playing for West Ham. There's an awful lot of talk about players that come in and they don't play with their hearts on their sleeves, and they don't care much for West Ham, etc. But Antonio's grown to really, he's part of the furniture, isn't he?
Yeah,
5
he really
years
is.
with the club, and he's just
30
great
goals.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a look at another player before we look at the kind of team selection and predictions. Is Pablo Fornals, 2 goals, 5 assists this season. He's started off a bit slow in his return in Project Restart, but he is starting to grow into the season again. What do you think of Pablo Fornals?
When you look at all our number 10s, because we've got a load of them, at the moment, he's the one that I would start with, because you could play Lanzini, you can play Fornals, you can play Anderson, you could even play Yarmolenko, all in that sort of that number 10 slot. But ironically, he's not even playing in that slot. He's playing out left at the moment. And I think the real shame for Fornals is that the lockdown came, because he was on fire just before lockdown happened, and he has not had the kind of whereas you've seen quite a few players have a sluggish start. We were even talking about Souček the first couple of games back and saying doesn't look like the player he was before lockdown, and a few other players were similar, but they've kind of shaken that off, and Souček now is back to what he was like, and probably even better. Rice, of course, has been Mr. Consistent. Noble as well. That rest has been good for him. He started off sluggish, and even he had a great game last week against Norwich. But Fornals doesn't seem to have had, it looks like he hasn't quite shaken off all the cobwebs just yet. And maybe tomorrow is the day that he's going to, show us again what he's really worth. I'd love him to get a goal. I think that would do his confidence the world of good, or assist in another goal as well, or if not get a goal himself. But I need to see something from him tomorrow. I need to see a bit of magic from him tomorrow, because he's been all right, but he's not been the player that we had just before lockdown in my mind.
Yeah. Just to remind you, we are live. Please comment. Before we move on to our...
We're live, and I don't know when he's going to put these jingles up. So
listen, you made half of them still.
I didn't make that one, but actually I did, didn't I? Yeah, I changed the colours.
Yeah. So listen, get your comments in with your starting 11, what your thoughts are for tomorrow. I mean, there's comments coming in left, right, and centre. People are saying and chatting about the potential to drop Mark Noble, but let's just get on to the Mark Noble before we move into the team selection. I mean, can't really fault what he did against Norwich.
Mate. And the conversation we had just before the kickoff last week, when the team news was announced and Noble, was announced as part of the starting 11, and we were going, good grief, what the hell's going on? You know, we were on this forward run, this momentum, and then we're like, what? Noble's playing, and not only is Noble playing, but Noble's playing just off Antonio. You know, so we didn't have a natural number 10 because Fornals was out on the left, and we didn't have a natural striker. And I just don't know how it works so so well. Maybe because Noble was told, go up front, well, not up front, but play further forward. Don't worry about having to track back in defence. Souček and Rice are there to do it, and I think that might have helped Noble. It might have given him that sort of release of, right, I know if we lose the ball, they're not expecting me to be back defending the back line, because Rice and Souček are going to be back there doing it, and it gave him a bit of freedom, and he played really well.
But,
I can't.
Contradictory to even talking about that is Chris makes a good point here in the comments. Watford are not Norwich, and Noble will not get the same space, and it's true.
That's true.
I mean,
Very
might
true.
not get the same space.
Yeah.
Is this the difference between the West Ham and the management, I suppose, of David Moyes, where we set up ourselves for a false sense of hope, and we go with the same side? Say, for example, like if this was Burnley now we were playing, we would set up the same way we did against Norwich, like we did against Burnley, which would be wrong. And the way we set up against Burnley was wrong, because we played well, but we did feed into their style of play.
What we did wrong with Burnley is we played Bowen out of position, to accommodate Yarmolenko. And what should have possibly happened against Burnley is Bowen should have stayed in the middle on the right, and Yarmolenko should have played just off Antonio. So you could argue, do we have a number 10 that's going to be able to create more space than others? And there is one player who be can't believe I'm saying this week in, week out, but there'll be one player who can create more space for himself because of the style of play because of the way he plays, and that's Jack Wilshere. And he's a look, greatest respect to Noble for what he did, and I get that point that was just made, that Watford are not a Norwich, but maybe someone like him could come in. I mean, I'll tell you who we need. It'll be Snodgrass. But because he's not fit, you do have to look at the opposition. And if there's any change that's going to be made tomorrow, it's likely to be Noble. But I think he'll keep the same team in my mind. But you're right.
Tell you what, comments in and let us know your starting 11 still. Let's get on to our starting 11. Literally, do we think there'll be any changes? It could be as simple as that. I'll go first. I don't see there will be changes.
Yeah, I don't think there will be. I think he will. I think he will stick to the team that started against Norwich. And the good thing about it is that we keep hitting the same thing. The good thing about it is that like we've just mentioned a whole pile of players that can come in during the game. Yarmolenko, Allaire, Lanzini, who's really off the ball, but Lanzini, Wilshere. I mean, we've got players coming out of our ears at the moment. So if it isn't going right up front, we can do something about it. But you look at that back line, and you look at the two just in front. That ain't going to change unless someone's injured, and we're not aware of any injuries. So you can virtually guarantee that those 6 players at the back, Souček and Rice included in that, are not going to change. And then you just look further up, and if there's going to be any changes, it's going to be up front. And maybe just he could bring Allaire back and put Antonio just behind Allaire, or Antonio out left and Fornals just behind Allaire. But we've got all these options. But I having said all that, kick Deeney in the bollocks. Well, that would be a good start. But no, I agree with you. He won't change the team. The starting lineup will be as was against Norwich.
I mean, my dad's in the comments here, and he's saying Deeney and Antonio will decide this match, I think, and there's a strong possibility if Deeney plays and of course Antonio plays, they could be the factors into why one of the teams will do better than the other. People are saying there's no way Anderson should be in contention for starting spot, though. I don't think he will.
No, don't think so.
people are coming in quite reasonably harsh there, Troz, but you are down to your own opinion. You're allowed it. Yarmolenko, to play ahead of him, at least he's earned it. And then obviously Dad's talking about looking at the goal difference. Maybe Moyes was correct in planning for that. Can't believe I'm giving Moyes praise. But listen, at the end of the day, the goals difference is dramatic. I mean, there's like 10 goal swing in it, and it is going to probably play a factor in West Ham or Watford receiving or getting safe this season. Let's get on to that favourite time of the show, which is going to be our predictions. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do is get your score predictions in the comments, and we'll read some through. I know some people have put them in already, so make sure you get them in the comments below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you put the comments in, and make sure you hit the thumbs up. We are coming back to you live tomorrow for our match day live, and then our watch along, and then our review, etc. We'll be on all night. We'll have a few beveraginis, I think that's what people are calling it, beveragianos, or whatever you call it. So make sure you join us tomorrow for that. But yes, we are here to talk about our score predictions. Still, we could be in line to make this show the shortest preview in our history, which is good. So, what is your score predictions tomorrow night? Watford travel to the London Stadium.
Right,
under the lights.
Let's be positive on this, and I'm going to go for I'm going to go for a 3-1 West Ham.
See your predictions this season. I've noticed a big change. I've noticed a big swing, especially in Project Restart. You think West Ham score 3 goals every game?
Yeah, I know. I think on average we have.
Yeah, we're starting to. Yeah. But we also concede 3 goals every game.
Well, that's the bit that I don't want to think about.
So you're going to
go on yours. What's your prediction?
A 3-1 victory. That's what you're saying. At home, it's a chance for us to really. Oh, I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. I'm going to go for another clean sheet, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to West Ham.
2-0.
Yeah,
all right.
I'll do a 2-0 victory.
Before we look at someone else, other people's predictions, we've got to remember it's his 500th game tomorrow.
Yeah.
And will he be given the start? Will he start just for that? I hope Moyes isn't that sentimental. I hope Moyes picks a team that he thinks is going to win. And I'm not saying that's not with Noble not in the team. I'm not saying that. But I hope sentiment doesn't come into it, and Moyes picks the right team for tomorrow, whether that's including Noble or not.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, there's a good valid point here from Gary. He's made, which is I want Antonio out wide, Haller up top. It would be too much for them. And do you know what? You make a valid point, and that's where Moyes might make the change.
I agree with that.
He might look at dropping Noble, or he may even look at dropping Fornals for that.
But you got to remember one thing, because Moyes did remind them, and they did do it last time. And as Fo says, where is it? It's gone. Damn it! I keep pressing the wrong one. Fo says, I hope Moyes reminds the defence they're allowed to keep a clean sheet. Did you see that story last week?
Yeah.
Where he said, I told the team to keep a clean sheet. I mean, it's that easy, isn't it? Football. You tell the team to do something, and they do it.
And they just do it. Let's get the predictions in below. Foshizi's 2-1 West Ham. Gary Page's 3-1 West Ham. My dad, James Baker's 2-1 to West Ham. Bonnie is 0-0 Serie A style. There's loads of people predicting a victory here for West Ham. So listen, we'll take that. There's lots there. Too many to go through, to be honest.
I like this one. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Corky, 2-1 to West Ham. Late strike from Allaire off the bench. Assist from both. Mate, I'd take that any day of the week.
Absolutely.
But by that time, my nails will be down to like the rim. So,
yeah. Listen, that brings us to the end of our preview. We've kept you engaged and hope you've enjoyed our graphics. Let us know your thoughts on our preview. Let us know your thoughts on our graphics. Do you like them? Do you not? Let us know. Does it entertain you? Does it keep you interested? Do our voices keep you interested? Does our information keep you interested? Like I said, we will be back tomorrow for a match day live, and in that, we'll have some team news, potentially some exclusive news. If not, we'll just talk to you about what we think is going to happen. We'll have several guests on tomorrow. And on top of that, we'll do a watch along where we do have a good laugh. So make sure you do join in and get the comments in. Again,
The watch along is a good laugh. I mean,
yeah.
you know, we kind of don't take it seriously. The fact that none of us are in sync almost doesn't matter, because we're not giving live commentary on the game, because most of you are all watching it anyway. So it's really like, it's Anton and I were talking just before that we went on, and it's as if you're at the game, because I know when I'm at a game, yeah, we are watching the game, but you're having banter with your mates next to you. And there's been many a time when I've missed a goal where we just turn around and go, oh yeah, blah blah blah, like, oh yeah, we've just scored, or they've just scored, or whatever. So it is banter. So do join us. You know, we do
cheers
try
for
and
that.
keep it.
Cheers for that, Foshizi. Really like it. Thanks, mate.
The old man is what you should have said there, mate. But thank you for that. Right, should we go with, like, we don't want to get to an hour, do we?
No, let's go.
Show.
Listen,
is it called? Go back to that one.
What is it?
Good show. Is it called More Than Just a Nice Night? He'll be on tomorrow night. Don't worry. We'll drag.
Don't worry, mate. He'll be back. Listen, thanks very much for joining us. I've been Anton. He's been Stell, and come on, you Irons.